Masters have told us from the very beginning of time the answers are within. We just never believed it. I think it's a clever place to hide the truth if you don't want humans to discover it. Just put it where they'll never think to look. We're always looking outside ourselves. And the truth of the matter is that once you move inward, once you recognize that your entire world is a creation of your own perception, your own values, your own attitudes, and your own beliefs, by shifting those beliefs, it seems magical. It seems as if the outside world changes, or all of a sudden you get lucky. It isn't about luck. It's about aligning your mind, body, and spirit in one unified consciousness that prints out as a divine spark.
This is Bruce Lipton, cellular biologist and pioneer of the new science of epigenetics.
Bruce, the subconscious mind, we know, or it's been proven in different areas, it's a million times stronger than our conscious thoughts or our conscious mind. It's running like 90-95%, if not more, of our everyday activities. A lot of these programs in our subconscious mind are from our childhood that maybe not necessarily serving our life well. What can we do to reprogram our subconscious mind? Is there some tools or some good quick places where people can go?
Yeah, one of the most important things, because the subconscious mind really has fundamental programs of life that we acquire from our parents, our family, our community between the last trimester of pregnancy and the first 7 years. So this is why nature created the first 7 years of a child's life to download how to be a member of a family and a society and a culture by strictly observing other people. It's actually a brain function. It's a equivalent of hypnosis.
Yes.
Okay. So the fundamental programs of your subconscious are not yours. The conscious mind is yours. That's the creative mind. Well, the issue is that the conscious mind can travel in time. What are you doing next week?
Yeah.
Your mind lets go of the moment, goes to next week. What'd you do last week? Lets go of the moment, and you move into last week. Or I say, Ty, think of something in your head. And the moment you're thinking, you're not paying attention. Well, this is what the function of the subconscious comes in. When you're not paying attention, you go to autopilot. So it's not like you're walking down the street and you have a thought and then stop. Like that. No, you continue walking. Yeah, but you're not paying attention. So it's a subconscious that does all the jobs from walking to driving the car. And so why is this relevant? Because when we're not paying attention and we default to the subconscious, we play the programs that are in the subconscious. And then I go, yeah, but the programs in the subconscious are primarily not yours. They came from other people. And most of them, as psychologists tell us, most of the programs we get are disempowering, self-sabotaging, and limiting. And
Yes.
the relevance about that is this. If I'm going to play those programs, then by definition, I'm going to be shooting myself in the foot. The reason why you play the subconscious programs is because the conscious mind's engaged with thinking, which is 95% of the time or more. And that means 95% of your behavior is invisible to you. And why I really wanted to emphasize this so much is this, because we believe we're victims. Oh, you know, I really wanted to be successful. I wanted to be healthy. I wanted to have a great relationship, and it's not working out.
Yeah.
And then you say, well, that was my intention, and it's not working, so therefore the world's against me. And then we go into victims like, God, I really wanted it and it didn't happen. And I just wanted people to wake up, because it basically is this. It's not the world against you at all. The world will give you everything. The issue is you're not operating from your conscious mind, except 5% at the most. And so your life is really a reflection of your subconscious programming.
Yes.
Now you say to me, well, I got programmed from the last trimester of pregnancy, first 7 years, so I was being programmed when I was 1 and 2 and 3, and I go, absolutely. And you say, but what were the programs? I wasn't there. I have no idea what the hell the programs are. And I go, here's the neat part. 95% of your life is coming from the subconscious. So all you have to do is look at your life and just look at it and say, for what? I say, what comes to you that you want and it comes to you easily, you have programs to allow that to happen. But what you struggle with, what you work hard on, what you have to put a lot of effort into, why are you working so hard? And the answer is simple, because you have an invisible program that is sabotaging you from that point. So now all of a sudden you say, well, what do I need to change? I say, well, look at your life.
Yes.
And tell me what you're having trouble with.
Yeah.
Because that's the direct expression of a program that's not supporting you. There's always been a belief that the conscious and the subconscious minds are one and the same. So if I educate my conscious mind, then my subconscious mind should automatically know what the heck I just did.
Yeah.
Right? So then I say, well, yeah, guess what? How many self-help books did you read? And I go, oh, I read all these self-help books. I say, now that you read them, did your life change? And the answer is, no, not really. but I'm really smart because if you ask me any questions about the self-help book, I can answer it. I say, well, what's the issue? And the issue is this. The conscious mind is creative. So yeah, I could read the book. I could watch this video with you in it. I could even just go, aha, and the conscious mind could accept that and learn it. But the subconscious mind does not learn that way. And that has been the problem, because we educate the conscious minds, get really smart, and our life stays exactly the same as it is. And the issue is why? Because it doesn't translate from the conscious to the subconscious. Because the subconscious learns in, well, 3 to 4 fundamental ways. Number one, the first way it learned 7 years was hypnosis, because the brain was operating in a low vibrational frequency and just downloading what it saw. After you're 7, how do you learn? Habituation. How'd you learn the ABCs or the times table? You had to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, and finally you got it, and then you know how to do it. So if you want to change the subconscious mind, hypnosis is number one, that works. Number two, repetition, habituation. Yes. Create a habit. And at first it seems like a struggle because it's new to the subconscious mind, but hey, you didn't learn ABCD the first time you said it, you know, you had to do it again and again. But after you do it for a repetition period, it will be so natural that if you're not doing it, your subconscious mind go, hey, what's happened? We're not doing it. So that's really good. We overcome that. A third way, which is very, some people get it and it's very powerful, but I wouldn't recommend it, is tremendous emotional shock. Boom! Something happens in your life and it's so dramatic that after that moment, you're not going to be the same person. The subconscious got it right there, okay?
Yeah.
And the newer one and the better one is a whole new field of belief change modalities, which are also associated with what's called energy psychology.
Yes.
And these are wonderful because basically it's a form of super learning. And what's neat about it, the conventional things like hypnosis or habituation, there's a time element that takes a long time.
Yeah.
But these new belief change modalities, like a super learning experience, you can change a belief you've had your whole life, 50 years, and change it in 10 minutes. Yeah. And so this is really, it's a new type of psychology that's coming in, but it's really necessary because, as they say, necessity is the mother of invention.
Yep.
We're running into a world that has a lot of necessity to change very, very quickly. So we're really happy to see that there are ways of changing without going through all that anxiety and stress, and we can do it really quickly. My favorite one is the one that I use because I'm most familiar with it, but there's many of them in my books. I give a whole list, but the one I use is called PSYCH-K, like the abbreviation of psychology. It actually represents psychological kinesiology. And it's an exercise where you get your right and your left brain hemispheres to work in harmony, which they don't do on a normal day-by-day basis. And when you get them to work in harmony, that's called brain synchronization, a window sort of opens up and you can drop in a new belief in 5 minutes.
Wow.
And I'm a devotee of that.
I think PSYCH-K is here in a global way at this time because of this time. Here just for me, it's here for the world and those who are ready to use it, understand it, recognize it, and use it for what it's intended to do. It's a high-speed form of accelerating evolution of human consciousness so we can catch up with the evolution that's already going on in the earth and the evolution of technology. One of the big important aspects of this to me is that our technology and our technological wizardry has seriously outstripped our wisdom. And as that technology proceeds to create all manner of impact on our earth and on our consciousness, if we don't get wise in a hurry, we're going to continue to misuse and abuse that technology, which we see happening all over the earth. So I believe one of the core reasons PSYCH-K exists on the planet is to speed up the evolution of our consciousness, expanding our wisdom. Remember what we said earlier, that this whole brain state is a gateway to higher consciousness. As Albert Einstein said, and many people may be familiar with his saying, you can't solve a problem from the level of thinking that created the problem. So if we're going to make changes in this world, we have to dial up. We have to get to a new level of vision and understanding. Then we have to be able to download that vision to a subconscious level where it can become a habit and we can put it into action through our physicality. You see, just having an esoteric understanding of what needs to be done doesn't change it. But being able to incorporate it in our physiology, in the world through behaviors, then we can make change. And we can make it in quite a hurry. Because we've been given this faster way of changing our consciousness.
Can you explain a little bit about how the subconscious mind works and why is it that going into the subconscious mind to make these changes is the most efficient way to do it?
Well, the subconscious is the home base for your values, attitudes, and beliefs. And those values, attitudes, and beliefs drive your behaviors. As a matter of fact, contemporary neuroscience tells us that at least 95% of the time, our behaviors are driven and directed from the subconscious level of our mind. We don't have as much free will as we think. So about 5% of the time we're operating on this free will level of I think I'll do this or I think I'll do that. The rest of the time we're operating from preconceived notions, belief systems that were learned in the early stages of your life and perpetuated over time. So the decisions and choices that we make are often not conscious at all, but quite subconscious. Those are you can consider the subconscious mind the habit level of thinking and behaving. So all we're really talking about doing here is exchanging habits that are no longer worthy of who we are or who we're becoming for ones that are. A lot of functions because it's a very powerful processor. And I say processor because that's what it does. It processes information into a lecture. So the information that it has is been accumulated over time through experience. You have an experience, you draw a conclusion, that becomes a perception and a belief, and from that perception and belief, you drive the next choice in your life. So whatever that choice is, it's mostly determined by what you just experienced or even years ago experienced, whatever it's heard. Now, the important thing about it is that you can rewrite the perceptual filters, in other words, the belief systems, I call them, to change the way it perceives and therefore what it suggests you should do or not do. In other words, you can change your habits by changing your perceptions. It doesn't matter how long ago something happened. It doesn't even matter too much how traumatic it was. Because if you change the definition of it, the perception of it, it de-traumatizes, it de-links from this automatic behavior or experience that you had in the past that haunts you now once you re-perceive it, and I don't mean see it necessarily. Experience was. Now, if you change the perception of that experience through PSYCH-K and these balances, they're called balances because they create a balanced identification between the left and the right hemisphere, which is, again, putting you in a whole brain state as you perceive that historical event. When you have both hemispheres perceiving it at the same time, it changes its effect, and that can happen in a matter of minutes. The thing with PSYCH-K is it's not a sort of one-trick pony. It's not just one thing you do. And the thing you do, these balances are activities, or sometimes it's a sitting posture, it can be a movement-based activity, it can be an interaction between you and another person with energy and points on the body. There's a whole complex of possibilities, like a menu. Think of it as a psychological menu. And I'm into the restaurant now, I'm deciding what I want to have for dinner. And I can order this or this or this or this. The beautiful part about PSYCH-K is you're talking via muscle testing. It's a binary code, an on and off switch. You can think of it that way. A biofeedback mechanism built into the body, kind of like a lie detector or a truth detector. But you already have it. You don't need machines to do this. We already possess this ability. Your subconscious mind does it all the time with sending information out in your body and then retrieving and getting information back and then taking action. So we use it in a very specific way. Muscle testing. Muscle testing doesn't change your beliefs at all. It has nothing to do with changing beliefs except to connect with that part of you that's going to change it. So we would use muscle testing as a communication link up, say in this case with the subconscious mind, to say, well, here's the menu, here's the goal. Number one, can you do this? Can you make these changes? We even ask that question in a slightly different format, but is every part of you and your subconscious mind ready, willing, and able to make the change? Because if it's not, there's no point in going on with that. You need to take a different tack towards whatever change you want to make. So once we get that commitment from the subconscious mind to do it, and then we offer up the menu. So do you want this or this or this or this? And through muscle testing, we can get a yes or no response. So the subconscious chooses what you're going to do, not the facilitator. It's not the doctor who says, oh, you got a headache, here's a pill. We don't know if you need a pill or not. We have no idea as a facilitator what you're going to need. But we do know your subconscious mind does know. And once it commits to make the change, it will gladly choose a pattern that is exactly right. Think of it. So PSYCH-K offers a multiplicity of things. So it's very important to align your subconscious beliefs with your conscious wisdom and goals and then move in that direction. Then you'll find support where before you found resistance.